I came across an interesting concept known as secondhand smoke. It refers to the harm done to a non-smoker who inhales the smoke in public spaces. According to the 2010 Global Adult Tobacco Survey on China, about 740 million people are affected by secondhand smoke, and over 100,000 people die annually from such exposure. As society progresses, more people recognize the importance of protecting their health by avoiding secondhand smoke. However, the dangers of secondhand living extend beyond just smoking. A person's mental state, habits, and lifestyle can also suffer from the influence of secondhand experiences. For a retired person, life should be relaxed and enjoyable, but living a secondhand life can lead to pain, confusion, and ultimately a feeling of defeat. 1. Secondhand information is toxic. At some point, many elderly individuals become hooked on their smartphones. Any event that happens in society is quickly analyzed, discussed, and spread across the internet. Through your phone, you can access all kinds of interpretations of the same event, each more confusing than the last. Take, for example, a couple's argument being posted online. Different people interpret it from various perspectives, turning it into numerous conflicting stories. The more you engage with negative content, the more your phone's algorithm pushes similar content, creating a feedback loop of negativity. Beyond the internet, information also flows from friends, neighbors, and relatives. Conversations filled with complaints, gossip, or idle chatter bring a steady stream of secondhand information, much of which is unverified or exaggerated. If you take everything you hear as truth, it can lead to emotional strain and mental clutter. The old saying "seeing is believing" holds true. Hearing about something repeatedly doesn't equate to understanding it. When you experience something firsthand, you know what to expect and are less likely to worry about it. For instance, in the story The Little Horse Crossing the River, a young horse hears conflicting advice. One animal says the river is shallow, another warns it's deep. The horse eventually learns that the water depth varies for different creatures. Likewise, relying too much on secondhand information can lead to confusion and unnecessary anxiety. Constantly consuming content on your phone creates a buildup of information clutter, much like how a phone can become slow and clogged with unused data. Periodically clearing out these mental and digital junk files is necessary for peace of mind. 2. Secondhand hobbies are exhausting. Take my neighbor Mrs. Liu as an example. She often complains about her joint pain, particularly due to osteoarthritis. Despite her doctor's advice to avoid activities that strain her knees and ankles, she continues to attend daily square dancing sessions with friends. Mrs. Liu fears that if she stops dancing, she'll lose her social connections and feel lonely. Similarly, Mr. Zhang, another neighbor, suffers from a mild stroke. His doctor advised him not to stay up late or sit for long periods. Yet, Mr. Zhang insists on playing mahjong regularly because it's a popular activity in the community. In childhood, we read stories like Dong Shi imitates Shi Shi, where someone blindly copies another person's habits without understanding whether they're appropriate. Yet, as seniors, many of us fall into the same trap. We engage in hobbies that don't suit us simply because friends do, or we fear rejection if we don't participate. Some retirees, unsure of how to spend their time, simply follow the crowd, assuming they must join in to avoid being seen as different. As writer Zhang Dai once said, if a person has no quirks, they're not worth befriending. Pursuing your own genuine interests and finding like-minded individuals is a path to happiness. However, basing your hobbies on the preferences of others is not. Everyone's values and physical conditions differ, so why should everyone have the same interests? For Zhang Dai, his interests changed over time. In his youth, he enjoyed luxurious clothes, fine food, and music. But after experiencing personal and national loss in his 50s, He retreated to the mountains, embracing simpler pleasures like gardening and playing the zither. These changes were based on his own circumstances, not external pressure. Any hobby that causes discomfort or stress should be abandoned, regardless of social expectations. Otherwise, secondhand hobbies will trap you in a life that doesn't feel like your own. 3. Secondhand social obligations are unnecessary. Retirement often brings extra free time, which prompts many retirees to reconnect with distant relatives or old friends. Through these interactions, they meet even more people, rapidly expanding their social circles. However, maintaining so many relationships becomes increasingly difficult. For example, after meeting someone at a class reunion, you might be invited to a wedding. You feel obliged to attend and give a gift, even though deep down you don't want to go. While you might wish for peace and quiet, the demands of these secondhand social obligations keep increasing. What's worse is when you start taking on favors for people out of misplaced social pressure. Your in-law's relatives ask for help, a distant neighbor requests you to look after their parents while they work out of town, or an acquaintance expects you to help with home repairs. In such cases, your life is no longer your own, you become a tool for others. While expanding your network during your working years is often necessary for career advancement, retirement is a time to practice decluttering. Your circle of connections doesn't need to grow larger. In fact, it's better to focus on meaningful relationships and let go of unnecessary ones. Friends of friends, distant acquaintances, and peripheral social contacts are all examples of secondhand relationships. Greet them when you see them, but there's no need to dive deeper. 4. Wise retirees live an original life. After leaving government service, the poet Tao Yuanming famously said, "Long I was trapped in the birdcage, but now I return to nature." Retirement is not just about leaving the workplace, it's about returning to a more natural, simple way of life. The sooner we understand this, the better. In this natural state of living, as long as you aren't breaking the law or violating moral principles, live however makes you happiest. Let go of external pressures and allow yourself freedom. When flooded with information, let it pass without letting it weigh on you. Pursue hobbies that suit you, even if they seem solitary or unconventional. If you enjoy singing by yourself, do it. And limit your social circle to family and a few close friends. As we age, life's burdens often feel heavier, making it essential to keep lightening the load. Not only should we admire Tao Yuanming, but we should also have the courage to live like him, free to follow our own path. In conclusion, a secondhand life, whether filled with other people's information, hobbies, or relationships, leads to frustration and a loss of identity. The happiest retirees are those who cultivate their own interests, live according to their own values, and maintain authentic relationships that truly matter.